Hey, what's up YouTube, Fishtube and Fish Fam? It's Rob with the Aquariums, and today I am coming to you with kind of a part two with regards to the Ovation filter submersible power jet that I put in the shrimp tank. As I mentioned in the video, that I was experimenting with the original filter, the Ovation 380 and the 210. So this was the one that you had seen in the video, and in this video you're actually going to see this one, which is rated for up to 30 gallons, which was 8 inches, versus the Ovation 210, which is for up to 15 gallons. So between these two filters, the differences aren't really that major except for water flow. So with that, let's check out the video and see how these two butt up to one another. Check it out. Hey, it's Rob from DeFreeze Aquariums. Today I'm coming to you with an unboxing and review on the Ovation 380 submersible power jet filter. So let's get into it. This filter is set up for tanks up to 30. Gives you the media, which goes in here. Bottom pops off. You have a core sponge, and then your media is up in here. It's very versatile in what you can do with it and how you can set it up. Like here's a vertical setup with a spray bar. Gives you info, and it's only about $20, $23. So if you're running it in a terrarium or a tank, look at that, you can actually effectively filter 6 inches of water. Your various stages of filtration, the design. You also have the adjustable airflow, which I'll show you on the instructions. So you have this, and you have a special piece that you would screw into here, put your hose on here, and then on the other end you can control the amount of air that goes into the tank, and that would basically replace this. I kind of cheated and put this together already. So this you can move back and forth, you can move it up or down. It's threaded with a gasket so that you're not getting any suction or blowout from down here in the side. It's a pretty big filter. I mean, when you think about nano tanks. So you're looking at that, and it's almost 8 inches. You know, and then for something like that, if you put it in the wrong place, it becomes an eyesore. Now, when I got this tank from Ken over at Twin City Guppies, it came with all the setup, the light, the filter. But I plan on putting the aquatop glass lid on here, which only leaves you 3/8 of an inch from the back out here. So when I measured it, it's going to be close. So as I thought about it, I stopped at my local fish store and I said, you know what, let me try this. So I kind of wish they had the smaller one, because as you see here, the 380 is up to 30 gallons at 100 gallons per hour. I probably could have gotten away with this. I'm going to have to see, and I'll show you guys when I set it up, how strong it is. I don't want it blowing the shrimp all over. It's made by Danier. It's made in the US, and there's their website if you want to go check it, which is kind of funny. What's it say there? A product by Danier, a proud American manufacturer, but it says made in China. You find something wrong with that statement? At any rate, here's the different configurations. As I mentioned, you can put that piece in and run the air line up and control the air that you want to put into the tank. The way I have it set up is this way, because I want to break up the surface. And this way you can take the piece out and just use it and have it spray right directly out of the port. You probably won't be able to see it, but yeah, I guess you can. You see here where it almost looks like there's glass, and it's not. It's actual the protein film. Occasionally I'll put a paper towel on it and pick it up and pull it off. So the one thing I did find especially for new people getting in the hobby and maybe wanting to try this, is your instruction pictures basically just show the setups. Same on the box. So this is the way I'm going to set it up. This is if you're going to use the tube. This is if you're going to run it just straight. And then if you're in 6 inches of water, then you can set it up with the spray bar as well. Shows you the adjustments, the various pieces and parts. They do have an O-ring on each of these connectors that would go down in here. What I find about the instructions is you have to read them in order to assemble this. So luckily for a lot of us, we already know how to do these from using canister filters. So I mean, it was pretty simple. You know, you screw this piece in, you attach the next elbow, and then you put the adapter on, and then you put your spray bar on, so it allows you to adjust it up or down and back and forth. But I think with the instructions, especially like I said, for somebody new, instead of putting this on here, leave this on the box, but show, you know, what each of these pieces are for. You know, why do I have a suction cup? Why do I have a barbed fitting? You know, that's the piece that you can use with the airline. Here's another barbed piece. You know, and it doesn't, you know, when you look at the instructions, you really have to pay attention. So if you're using terrarium, you suction cup this, and it really doesn't go into a lot of great detail about these pieces. So I know this one, if I wanted to put this in and extend this out further. With that tank, I don't really want it going over the bonsai tree. You know, I want it just to break up the surface. So all in all, I mean, it's not a bad unit. All right, folks, here you have the Ovation 380 doing its job. As I showed you before, it kind of had that, like you were looking through a scuffed up piece of plexiglass. It's all gone. It's doing exactly what I wanted to do. It's breaking up the surface. It's getting rid of that protein buildup. It's definitely moving water. But as I said, based on the size, you know, that's kind of an eyesore when you're looking at this tank for aesthetics. Of course, I'd put it back here when I take that filter out. But I'm really thinking I'm going to try to see if I can't find the Ovation 210 model, which is a little bit smaller, geared for up to 15 gallons. And I think the flow won't be as strong. I definitely set it down in the water, so it's definitely below the water line. And I have the spray bar, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, just above the water. So I'm probably going to experiment with this. I may pull that once this is cycled and move it to the back and see, but the tank itself is perfectly squared. It's 11 7/8 both ways, as well as up and down. So I'm still going to get that same type of vortex going. But with this, if I put the top on it that I'm going to get, it leaves 3/16 of an inch around, but you have to move it forward, and it only leaves you a gap of 3/8. When I measured this little protrusion is almost at that 3/8 mark. So my concern is the lid not fitting, so I can use something like this so it doesn't affect the lid, and I can keep the lid centered. But for 23 bucks, this really isn't bad. If you have a 30-gallon or below tank, I think would be ideal. This, it might be too much, but I'm going to let it run, because I can always take it and put it on my 10-gallon pea puffer community tank, and I think it'll work well over there. And we'll see how it does as far as filtering. Not really a whole lot in there. It's mostly just air bubbles. There was some debris floating around, but you know, it'll basically get sucked up in here, go through the stages of filtration, and then it'll pump out the clear water. Alright, so as I mentioned earlier on the video about the Ovation being a little bit big for that tank, I picked up the 210, which is good up to 15 gallons. So pretty much same packaging, the ability to use it the same way as the other one, the 380, which is what's on the other tank right now. All the same stats minus the gallons per hour. So let's open her up and see the size difference. So this is how it comes. Same instructions, the same setups. Got your spray bar, your air valves, and the pump. So all kind of white powder on it, whatever that is. I'll have to clean it up before we put it in the tank. So basically that is your filtration. It's just odd that there was powder on it, so I took the bottom off to make sure it wasn't used. I got it on eBay or on Amazon. Uses coarse foam, which goes up in the bottom here. So for a shrimp tank, it's not bad because you're not going to have that kind of bio load that you would have with fish. Maybe some of the smaller fish you could get away with something like this, even though the other one is meant for up to a 30-gallon tank. And depending on how you feed, this might clog up fairly fast, but for what I'm using it for, I think it'll work out well. So one of the differences between this and the bigger model is your spray bar is clear. You have the piece to utilize your air valve if you're going to use it to draw air into the tank. You have your various connections that'll mount from here to attach your spray bar. But I think in that tank over there, that's actually going to work out quite well, because the one that's in there now is probably about 8 inches. So here you're at 5. And it's not as big or as intrusive as the other one. So let's get this put together and we'll get it in there. Alright, so it is now assembled. So as you can see, you have a clear tube which connects these. You have your spray bar, which you can again on the other model swing it back and forth, tilt it up or down. And then of course you have your air hose, your air tube, and your air valve, which I won't be using on this. So let's get this put in and see what happens. Alright, so they're both in. This is just for demonstration purposes. So there's your 210, and you see the flow. I don't completely have it submerged yet. Setup is a little different because you have ports on this one, but you don't have ports on that one. So as you see, it's definitely moving some water. Here's the other one. So now if I take this and I just push it to the water surface, still getting great surface agitation. Alright, so here is the final setup. We've got the Ovation 210 set up in the back corner, replacing the 380. The hang-on back's been moved from that corner to this corner and successfully put down behind the bonsai tree. So as you see, when we come around the front, the sponge filter basically disappears. Now of course once this fills in, you won't see that. Once these plants fill up, you won't see the heater anymore. And way back there is the 210. So as you saw, the 380 was 8 inches and took up quite a lot of space just sitting here. Did move water. And as you see underneath, definitely a decent flow. So for a nano tank, you definitely have several options. You have your 380, which is good up to 30, and your 210, which is good up to 15, which that is that one. But I was going through Walmart and I came across another interesting filter. This filter is from Interpet. It is an internal power filter, basically kind of a trickle filter. It's kind of the same effect as that. It was on clearance just before the holidays for $7. I got it for $1. Couldn't pass it up. Now the filter is actually pretty cool, minus the fact that when they taped the box, they broke the lid. Contacted the company and they're sending me out a new top. So you have your carbon filter media, and then you have this tray of what I initially thought were bio balls, and then the canister, the impeller, and all that other good stuff. Suction cups to the back of the tank. So they actually are phosphate remover spheres, and that shows you the filtration, the flow, how it works, and all the information about it. So I thought that was pretty cool having them in here. Whether they work or not remains to be seen. And you can actually pop this out and replace these, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't really played with this filter yet. But even then, I could just load this up with scrunchies and it's good to go. Now the funny thing is, in this tank, I have a bigger version, or it might be the same version as the one I got for $1. It came with this tank that I bought used. I could have used that door. But seeing the size of this tank, I could easily put one in each corner of the tank and achieve double filtration. So it was kind of odd that I didn't even realize I had that one. So even with that, I could get away with bio balls. Another good deal. They sell in the store for $16, $17 a box. And then while we're on the subject of filtration, there is the top fin filter with the ChemiPure bag, the filter media, and then down inside I also have, as you see, one or two there, I have the biological filter balls from Nat Geo. Now, because I was getting a protein skin forming on this, I added the Aquatop CAF10 sponge filter. So as you see, it's basically all the parts. It gives you a rundown of what's in it. There's definitely some stuff down in the bottom in the canister to help grow bacteria. And this was $2.58. So right there are several ideas for your nano tanks. So there's definitely a few options. Sponge, which a lot of us use religiously. Some submersible pumps. And some trickles. So depending on your setup, here are some ideas for you. And there's some proof that at least that one works. And in the bedded tank, you see how well that's working. So between those filters, you definitely have a lot of options. And so with that, folks, I appreciate you stopping by, checking out yet another video from the new and hopefully improving DeFreeze Aquariums. As always, God bless and keep those sleeves wet. This is Rob, DeFreeze Aquariums.